Have you ever looked at the headlines, low unemployment, booming stock market, and then looked at your own budget and thought, wait a second, if the economy's so good, why does everything feel so tough? Well, you're not alone. That's the huge puzzle we're going to try and piece together today, this massive disconnect between the official numbers and how life actually feels for so many people.
And this feeling, it isn't something new. This quote from Oren Cass really hits the nail on the head. It's the result of trends that have been building up for decades, leaving a whole lot of people feeling financially squeezed no matter what the rosy economic reports might say.
This chart lays out the conflict perfectly. On one side, you have the official stats that look pretty good, but on the other, you have the lived reality, which tells a totally different story. Think about it like this. An analyst might point out that the average home is bigger now, but if the only houses getting built are twice as big and twice as expensive, your actual cost of living has shot through the roof. That's something the official inflation numbers might not fully capture.
So the big question is, right, how did we get here? To really understand this disconnect, we have to look at the one single goal our economy has been laser-focused on for decades.
For a really long time, a super powerful idea has been running the show in economics. It's the belief that the main point of our economy is simple: get us more stuff with less effort. In this worldview, the market's #1 job is to maximize consumption.
And what this means really is that everything boils down to just one thing: price. If you can buy things cheap, the economy is a success. End of story. It doesn't really ask about the cost to American jobs or the stability of our communities or even our national security.
And listen, this wasn't some fringe idea. This famous quote from a top government economist shows that this was a genuine belief at the highest levels. The thinking was that what a country produces is totally irrelevant, as long as we, the consumers, can buy things for cheap. It's all just numbers on a spreadsheet. This brings us to the fundamental question, doesn't it? If our material standard of living is technically higher than ever before, but so many people feel like they're falling behind, have we just been measuring the wrong things this whole time?
Okay, so if focusing only on consumption is the problem, what should a good economy focus on? Let's dig into a different vision.
You can think of this alternative view like a balanced diet for the economy. Yeah, consumption is part of it, it's on the plate, but it's just one piece of the puzzle. Other absolutely critical elements for people to thrive are things like meaningful work, the ability to actually support a family, and living in a strong, stable community.
So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, it means prioritizing the very things that the consumption-only model tends to ignore: stable, dignified jobs, the ability for one person's income to support a family, and a sense of pride in our nation's ability to innovate and build important things.
And what's wild is that this isn't some radical new idea. The argument is that it's actually a return to a much, much older tradition in American economics, something often called the American system. It's a philosophy that goes all the way back to founders like Alexander Hamilton and was pretty much the standard for nearly 200 years.
Okay, so if the goal is to rebalance economy back towards production and community, what's the tool for the job? This brings us to one of the most debated topics out there: tariffs.
First things first, the goal itself gets a total reframe. It's not about free trade at any and all costs. It's about achieving balanced trade, stopping the massive long-term trade deficits that hollow out our industries. The ideal isn't zero barriers. It's a balanced system.
I mean, the promise of the whole global trading system was this beautiful, balanced exchange, right? The idea that both sides would make more cool stuff to sell to each other. But the reality? Well, the reality for decades has been a radically imbalanced system, a one-way street where entire industrial communities got hollowed out, and the promised new opportunities just never showed up.
So from this viewpoint, tariffs are doing two jobs at once. First, they put a thumb on the scale to make it more attractive to produce things right here at home. And second, they create leverage. They become a tool you can use in negotiations to push other countries toward fair trade practices and a more balanced relationship.
This quote just sums up the whole philosophy perfectly. Policy tools, like tariffs, they're just a means to an end. They aren't the goal themselves. And in this view, that end goal is a balanced, resilient, and productive economy for everyone.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the most crucial takeaway. There are no quick fixes here. You just can't reverse decades of economic policy in a couple of years.
You gotta remember, the economic challenges we're all facing today didn't just pop up overnight. They're the direct result of decisions and trends that have been building and compounding for about 40 years.
You can literally trace this whole story through time. It starts with an ideological shift back in the 80s, then globalization goes into overdrive in the 90s, followed by the massive China shock in the 2000s that just devastated US industry. And all of that has led us right here, to this current moment of reckoning.
Because this has been such a long journey, any realistic solution has to be about the long game. It's not an overnight fix. The goal is more like trying to turn one of those massive container ships in the middle of the ocean. It's a slow, deliberate process that's all about changing our long-term direction, not just the next quarterly report.
So here's the bottom line. The choices made over the last 40 years built the economy we have right now. The critical question for all of us is, what path are we going to choose for the next 40? Thanks for watching.